Hey guys. So today we're going to start reading a new story that is really good. Normally I read it towards the beginning of the year, but we just kind of skipped that one this year, so well, you get to go back to it. It'll be nice. So this story is French, and it's by a man named Guy de Maupassant. It looks like Guy. His name's Guy, not Guy. Okay. And we're going to kind of walk through it together. The PDF is for you online. You do not have to answer any of the questions that are on the PDF, okay? It's just the best copy of the story I could find for you. So this is a young woman, and she's beautiful. It says she's born as if by an error of fate into a petty official's family. She had no dowry, no hopes, nor the slightest chance of being appreciated, understood, and married by a rich and distinguished man. So back in the day, dowry is when a woman's family gave money to her husband when she got married, because women didn't work. So women were kind of a burden on your household. And so when you married a woman, you got money because you had to take care of her, which is a little antiquated and kind of sad now. I think imagine what would be awful if you just couldn't work and you had someone had to be paid to marry you. But because she's a really beautiful woman and she's charming and she's enjoyable, but her family's poor. And if your family's poor, you don't have any dowry, you can't marry a rich man. And she desperately wants to marry a rich man and be wonderful in society. But she can't. So she slipped into a marriage with a minor civil servant at the Ministry of Education. Slipped. I hope that when you get married, I hope that when I get married, I don't just slip into it. That's like an accident. It's like she didn't even want to, because she didn't. She wanted to marry a rich man, okay? She couldn't afford jewelry. She had to dress simply. And it said that she felt like she suffered all the time. Every time she looked around her house, she said the shabby walls, the worn furniture, the ugly upholstery caused her pain. Pain. Seeing the fact that her curtains aren't very pretty, she feels pain. She doesn't like the wallpaper on her walls, and it feels pain. And her furniture is not brand new, and she feels pain. No, poor thing. Okay? It literally says that most women who have grown up like she grew up wouldn't even notice these things, but it tormented her and made her angry. Catch this. She has a servant girl who cleans for her, a cleaning lady, a maid. She's not so poor she can't afford a maid, because let me be real, I can't afford a maid. Can you afford a maid? But she can afford a maid. But she doesn't like her maid because her maid is a Breton girl, Breton, which was not white. Not white maids were cheaper. White maids were really fancy. If you could afford a white maid, then wow, you made it. So the fact that her maid wasn't the right skin color caused her pain. Do you hate her yet? Because I hate her. Okay. She wished she had a room. Her rooms had thick carpets and expensive tapestries and had tall, beautiful torches to light the room and footmen who took care of her. And everything should be upholstered in silk and had fragile tables holding priceless little knickknacks and enchanting sitting rooms that smell like perfume, designed for tea time chats. Do you have a room in your house for a tea time chat? The tea time room? I sure don't. And yet, because she doesn't have these things, that seem kind of ridiculous, honestly. They're not that special. Normal people don't have these things, but she wants them. And because she doesn't have what she thinks she deserves, because she thinks she should be rich, but she's not. So she literally cries every day, feels physical pain. Pain, because she doesn't have all the nice things that she wants. I roll. She's ridiculous. Okay? When she sits down to dinner at her tablecloth is 3 days old. Do y'all use tablecloths? I do not use tablecloths. She wants to live in a house that you can change tablecloths every single day. Enough tablecloths for every day of the week. How does it feel to want, right? This girl, she has her head in the clouds and it doesn't belong there. She dreams of great things. But again, like I said, she can't really get a job. So she just sits around the house all day and cries about the fact that her house isn't nice enough. Great life she's living. And her husband, when she cooked dinner, her husband would be like, you made us beef stew. Yum, that's delicious. And she'd sit there and be upset that she wasn't eating at a room with silver woven into the tapestries. And she was sad that she wasn't eating on gorgeous china. And she wasn't eating trout or wings of grouse. Now, in this time period, again, like it's a while ago because women are still give dowries to their husbands. We're talking like 1800s. You don't have electricity. And I don't know if y'all know that fish goes bad really fast. So if you were going to be able to eat fish, you had to be able to pay for it to be caught and brought to you immediately. So it was very expensive because you couldn't keep it fresh. And a grouse is a teeny weeny little bird. Teeny weeny little bird. And it was very fancy to eat those because there's not a lot of meat on them. So they're expensive because they're hard to catch because they're small. And it's hard to kill them without blowing a hole in them, right? So you have to like catch them by hand, and then you kill them by hand, and then you can cook them up. So she really just wanted needlessly expensive dinner. Beef stew wasn't good enough for her. She wants fancy, fancy dinner on china, surrounded by beautiful people because her husband's just not enough, okay? She doesn't have like fancy clothes or fancy jewelry, and these are the only things that she loved because she felt like she was made for them. Okay. Now she had a rich friend, a schoolmate from the convent she'd attended, but she didn't like to visit her because it made her miserable when she got home. She'd go see her friend and be like, "You're rich and I'm not." And then she'd come home. It literally says that she would weep for whole days at a time. Wow. Wouldn't that make you feel good as her friend to know that when she visits you, she comes home and cries for days on end? Ridiculous. Okay. So her husband comes home one night and he's so excited and he has this envelope and he's like, "Hey baby, I have something for you." And he puts it down on the table and she opens it and it's an invitation to a ball. It's a fancy ball. It's a very sought after invitation. Not everyone gets them. He had to kind of pull some strings to get there. And he's so excited to give it to her because he's like, "Yes, my wife loves fancy things. I got her this invitation to this really awesome ball." And instead of being like, "Oh my God, thanks," she literally takes it and throws it on the table and says, "What do you want me to do with that?" Now, I don't know about you, but if I had worked really hard to get my significant other something and she threw it or he threw it on the table and got angry, whoo, I'd be pissed, right? Wouldn't you? If you worked hard to get somebody something and they're like, ugh, they fling it away, that's awful. And he's like, "Well, I thought you'd be pleased. You always want to go out, and these are really like, it took a lot of work for me to get this invitation for you. Not everyone's invited. Like, this is a big deal." And she looks at him and she says, "I don't have anything to wear. I couldn't go." And he's like, you have beautiful dresses." And then she starts to cry. This poor guy, y'all. He works so hard to get this super nice thing for his wife. He gives it to her and she throws it on the table and then cries. If you buy a gift for somebody, even if you don't like it, they should at least be like, "Thank you," right? How would you feel if you got someone a present that you'd saved up for, that you were really excited to give them, they threw it on the floor and started to cry after you gave it to them? Yeah. Okay. So he's like, "What is wrong with you?" And she's like, cries for it and then just wipes her tears. And she says, "You know what? Give it to one of your colleagues whose wives be better dressed."